Well, we waited a long time to unveil the magnificent Verdi Requiem performance for our Sacramento audiences, and now it has become a triumphant reality. I was deeply moved among the singing of the Ukrainian national anthem as it was the perfect way to start the concert. One of my altos in the Schola Cantorum, she's an attorney, who sat in the balcony, said that there was a whole bunch of Ukrainians sitting behind her and singing at the top of their voice. I could hear lots of others in the downstairs orchestra also. They were really grateful Ukrainians. But I was so proud of you all for your outstanding singing all weekend long, and especially at the performance, which was electrifying in every way. The opening Kyrie was recording quality from start to finish. And what a sound when you did the abrupt modulation into the and the dies irae was full of fire and passion and totally thrilled the audience. The offstage brass that circled around the audience was exhilarating, as was the first entrances, especially on the Tuba mirum spargem sonum. We shook the paint right off the walls in that new theater. Hats off to the tenors and basses for a thrilling Rex Tremendi that really showed the power of their sections. So many people in the audience said to me afterwards, "What a men's section." We actually had more tenors and basses singing in the choir than sopranos or altos. Their sound was fantastically startling and overwhelming in the best sense of the word. And the Lacrimosa, our final chorus in the second movement, was hauntingly beautiful and touching, and quite possibly the best melody in the entire Requiem. The cellos, bravo, they played the opening of the third movement offertory beautifully in the performance. These bars, are the hardest thing in the Requiem for the cellos to play in tune. And that excerpt is in every orchestra audition list across the country for cellists to get into major symphony orchestras. I couldn't wait until we got to the Sanctus to show off the real muscle of the SCSO and those opening chords. And I thought the fugue was clean and well balanced. Finally, what a joy to sing that movement. The solo gals did a nice job of the Agnus Dei, and your singing was sublime and full of meaning and warmth. A really, really beautiful singing in the midst of all this chaos. And I adore the Lux Aeterna movement and was happy with the soprano solo also. Our dear orchestra played this movement especially exquisitely, all the tremolos and the strings. The opening memorized chant of the final Libera Me movement was just perfect. So I thought, well, maybe you should memorize the entire Verdi Requiem next time. After all, I did, so why shouldn't you? Actually, several of you marvelous singers did have it memorized. The a cappella hymn with the soprano soloist was heaven on earth and so pristine. And she nailed her high B softly and elegantly. And the fugue was very successful indeed, with good articulation as it streaked down to the finish line. The enormous build to the end was so thrilling, and it nearly brought the house down. I was quite sad to suddenly realize that we were at the end of the piece, and I didn't want it to end. I couldn't believe that we were there. I just froze in time for a few moments before the audience exploded in a thunderous applause that rolled down the theater and the hall and the aisles of the new theater with many people screaming bravos. Some of you were a bit tearful at the end too. It was clear that this audience has missed you terribly over the last 2.5 years, and the great quality music that you have brought to our community for the past 25, 26 years. They were so glad to have you back on stage again, and they were hungry to hear the literature that you sing. And the new risers were a huge success, and you had more comfortable chairs to sit on. The curvature of the risers gave a great professional look to the entire stage, and they really enabled you to hear one another much better. So we are so grateful to finally have these risers. And how wonderful, after waiting 2.5 years, to come back to a sold out theater. That was my personal hope, and it all came true. We all worked harder than ever to draw the audience back. And I believe that we made a lot of new friends who might hopefully come back next year and hear our concerts for the new season. And we had alumni and friends from San Diego and also from the Bay Area and beyond. It was a joy to have our former accompanist and longtime soloist, Stephen Jansen, join us from Washington. And the Constellation sound system worked perfectly. What a debut in this beautiful new theater. Phew. And our dear Biba was magnificently honored with the resolution from the mayor and the city council. I talked to her husband, Dr. Vincent Caggiano, and her 2 daughters in the lobby afterwards, and received emails of gratitude from them today. I was swamped by so many people from all over the area, the Bay Area, who were hugging me and grabbing me in the lobby afterwards and shaking my hand and taking pictures. It was such a joy to recommend, to reconnect to our dear, amazing Carolyn Schaefer, who will be celebrating 100 years, 100 years old on May 29th. What a terrific role model she is for all of us. And I've received so many emails and phone calls in the last few days from people raving about the performance as the best thing this city has heard in a long time. We had our orchestra alumni in the audience who also wrote me to say how fantastic the concert was. Our concert mistress, Cindy, called me Monday morning while I was on the bike at the gym to rave about how exciting the concert was and how the orchestra simply loves me to death. She said, because I'm so nice to them, not all the time, that they really want to play well for me, she said, because our orchestra is a family bonded by that respect and admiration, unlike any other orchestras where there is no teamwork or a real concern. So, and she is right. I mean, as I've known my orchestra and my friends here for decades, we've worked together. It was a lot of fast work and 6 rehearsals to pull this entire concert together, and you really pulled it off magnificently. What a sight that stage was, with over 220 people on stage and the Ukrainian flag. The photos of the rehearsal, rehearsal and the performance and the concert reception on Saturday are now available on our website under media. Since this is the amazing, since this performance was not reviewed, Jim has sent out a request for comments about the concert. So thank you for sharing this request on your network. We certainly run a class act operation from beginning to end. Diane's her program book is a true work of art and takes enormous patience and skill to pull this together. And Dr. James McCormick is an amazing human who instantly connects to the audience. And as someone said recently, puts the audience at ease immediately. The applause he garners from them is genuine and heartfelt. And he never writes any of this down or takes notes on stage. He just, nor does he ever stammer or say, He just goes out there and it flows out of him naturally. So bravo, Jim. I hope you all will bask in the glory and hang on to that great memory for a long time, you should be bursting the buttons on your vest. What a sense of accomplishment for you to create such beauty for our community in the midst of this pandemic and endless dreadful news that we read about in the press every day, all these shootings. And we are the antidote for all that which is bad as we continue to bring good to the world. And as we continue to lift up people's lives with our music, and we continue to show our community the lasting value of world-class music and its power to fulfill us all. So I shall miss you all for a while now, but I hope to see you at the Summer Sing in August the 11th at 7 p.m. in St. John's Lutheran Church downtown. What a year we're going to have, starting in the fall with completely glorious music, glorious music. Meanwhile, help me recruit talented men and women for our choir, starting now. If they possess a good singing voice and can read music, then just send me their email or their cell phone, and I'll take care of it. Okay, I'm going back to the chaotic remodel of our house now, but hope you know how grateful I am to have you in my life every day, in every way. I love you all, and I hope you will remember that always. Have a great summer, everybody, and thank you from the bottom of my heart.